So, have you ever wondered what really separates a good salesperson from a truly great one? I'll tell you right now, it's not about having some slick pitch or a bag of tricks. It's about having a system. And today, we're going to build that system from the ground up. We're going to dive into the mindset, the psychology, and the strategy that actually drive real, lasting growth. All right, so here's our game plan. We're going to focus on three foundational pillars. These are the absolute bedrock of any successful sales strategy. We'll kick things off with the seller, that's you, then we'll move on to the buyer, and finally, the product. And you'll see by the end how all three of these work together in perfect harmony. Before we get into all the nitty-gritty details, let's just zoom out for a second and look at the big picture. Every single sales interaction, it doesn't matter what industry you're in, it happens inside this simple but really powerful ecosystem. And at its heart are just three key players: the seller, the buyer, and the product. Think about it like a three-legged stool. If just one of those legs is weak, what happens? The whole thing just falls right over. So to really master sales, you have to understand how each of these pieces connects to the others. And you know what? The best place to start is with the one thing you have total control over, and that's you. Okay, let's get into our first and honestly our most critical pillar, the seller's mindset. This is your foundation. And if this isn't solid, I'm telling you, the entire structure you're trying to build is going to come crashing down. So we are going to bust some of the biggest myths and conquer the fears that hold so many people back. When you hear the word sales, what pops into your head? For a lot of people, it's this image of a pushy, aggressive person trying to shove a product down their throat. But as you can see here, that's just a myth. The reality? True sales professionals are problem solvers. They are trusted advisors who are there to guide clients to the absolute best solution. This right here is a total game changer for your mindset. You're not trying to sell to everybody. You are a filter. Your job is to weed out the wrong fits so you can focus on guiding the right person to a solution that will genuinely help them. You see how that just takes all the pressure off? It lets you focus on building real, honest relationships. So forget all those old stereotypes. You are not some script-reading robot. You are a strategic business consultant, a trusted advisor who can actually diagnose a client's pain points and then prescribe the perfect solution. You are the bridge that connects their real needs with what your company can offer.
Let's be real. Sales can feel like an emotional roller coaster. But the pros, they know how to handle the ups and downs without getting derailed. They reframe everything. Rejection isn't failure, it's just data telling you what to do next. Objections aren't insults, they're just questions in disguise. By detaching from the outcome and trusting the process, they stay in control.
Okay, so we've got our own house in order. Now let's shift our focus outward to the second pillar, buyer psychology. If you want to be truly effective, you absolutely have to get inside the mind of your customer and understand the psychological triggers that drive them to make a decision. Every single purchase, and I mean everything, from a cup of coffee to a massive software contract, it follows this exact same three-step process. First comes the emotion, then the logic, and finally the action. It's like a psychological dance, and as the seller, you need to learn how to lead. And this right here, this is where so many salespeople get it completely backward. They lead with logic, just bombarding people with features and data. But the pros, they know you have to win the heart before you can convince the mind. They create that emotional connection first, and then they bring in the logic to justify the decision. Oh man, we've all been there, right? You get that dreaded phrase, "I'll think about it." It's like the ultimate sales buzzkill. But what is really going on when someone says that? Let's put on our detective hats for a second and decode the hidden message behind this classic line. Okay, so 9 times out of 10, "I'll think about it" is just a smokescreen for something else. It's almost always one of these three things. They're confused, they're afraid, or there's just no sense of urgency. Your job is to figure out which one it is and then address that root problem head on. So we've covered the seller, we've covered the buyer, now it's time for that final piece of the puzzle, the product. And listen, this isn't about memorizing a huge list of features. It's about deeply understanding how what you offer can literally transform your client's business and maybe even their life. This is such a classic sales mistake. We get all excited about our product's features that we totally forget what the customer is actually buying. They're buying a solution to a problem. You're not selling ad campaigns. You're selling a flood of qualified leads. You're not selling software features. You're selling the efficiency that leads to massive business growth. They just don't care about the bells and whistles. They care about results, period. It's probably the oldest saying in sales, but it's as true today as it ever was. Your job is to connect the dots for your customer, to show them exactly how each feature translates into a real tangible benefit for them. So instead of saying, we provide weekly SEO reports, you say, we show you exactly how you're climbing the ranks on Google so you can watch your competitors get smaller in the rearview mirror. You feel the difference?
Now, when you finally master all three of these pillars, the seller's mindset, buyer psychology, and deep product knowledge, something pretty magical happens. You're no longer just a salesperson anymore. You become a trusted advisor, a strategic partner, a true catalyst for your client's growth.
A real pro never ever wings it. They walk into every meeting armed with what we call a battle card. It's their game plan. They know their target inside and out. They've already thought about objections, so when someone says, you're too expensive, they're ready to pivot to a conversation about value. And they have proof, powerful case studies that basically say, hey, don't take my word for it. Here's how we got a 300% increase in leads for a business just like yours. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a little challenge. Take a good hard look at your own sales process and ask yourself, which of these three pillars needs the most work right now? Is it your mindset, your understanding of your customer, or your knowledge of your product? The answer to that question, well, that's your personal roadmap to success.